So you're Blues captain Ryan O'Reilly, and you want a haircut that's as custom as your stick curve. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so you get your signature look every time. We got you, and you got this. Great Clips, official hair salon of the NHL.
I got super duper duped. There's issues coming out of my yin yang. The crown's going down real good.
Very soon it will. Very soon it will. Dolly, what are you going to do here? Because there's no Matt to hide behind. It's just me and Jeff. What are you going to do?
Well, you're still the bad guy. Patterson's a good guy. I tell you, Patterson would never in a million years rip me. Jeff and I go back. But Patterson is what I would say a good guy who is even-keeled and just an average Joe Blow good guy. Unlike you, Price. The arrogance coming out of you
Average?
is
You just called Jeff average. What a slight.
Oh, no. Average Joe Blow. You know,
an average good guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fancy dancy guy, but Price, you come across as arrogant, cocky, know-it-all. Everyone's beneath you. We're not like that.
Way to damn a guy with faint praise. You know, I like this guy. He's totally average.
Average Joe Blow.
Speaking of beatdowns,
it's good.
Yeah. How's Donnie doing? Is he cowering in the corner in the fetal position? Jim Rutherford just standing him up about the plight of his franchise.
Yeah, Jim was, I think it's a reflection, guys. And I think Jim's getting to understand for the first time in his career he's in a Canadian market. When there's a big story in a Canadian market, the media and the fans are going to be on you all the time. You guys know that. Go ask Jim Benning about being in a Canadian market. Go ask Mike Gillis. Go ask any general manager. Go ask Travis Green. You don't think he knew what was being said on Twitter and what was being said in the media? Absolutely he did. It is hard in today's society not to know. And you know what? These guys know. And the pressure's on a JT Miller trade. Is it going to happen? And we asked him about that. And Donnie brought up 1970. Fans are impatient. And Jim said, you know what? But that's not fair to me. No, he hasn't been here since 1970. He's been here for 8 months. And here's another one for you guys. And I said this to you last week, and I'm going to keep saying it. The mess that was left for this regime is going to take some time to untangle. There was no cap space. There's no prospects on the farm. The first round, second round draft picks all traded in the last 3 years. To get from underneath this is not going to happen overnight, guys. And Jim is telling everybody that it's going to take time to untangle this, and you have to be patient, guys. There's no other route to take here.
Dolly, you've reported that Mikheyev could have got 5 and change elsewhere, but he chose the Vancouver Canucks?
Absolutely, he did. He pared it down to 8 teams, and there was offers. And Thomas Drentz and I were talking the other day, and Thomas said there was an offer at $5.1 million. And I have been led to believe that there were offers for Mikheyev higher than what the Canucks gave. He had pared down his list to 8 teams. Basically, I'm going to leave it like this to you guys. Every team in the league checked in with the agent, Dan Milstein. What's it going to cost to get this guy? And he pared it down to 8 teams, and then picked Vancouver after that. So I do believe he picked it. He played a role in Kuzmenko coming here, Jeff. So you look at this Milstein guy, and he's got 6 Canucks now. He's got 2 drafted, 2 on the farm, Klimovich and Daniluk, the defenseman, and now he's got Kuzmenko and he's got Mikheyev. And his relationship, I did ask Dan. I said, "Hey, what's going on with you in Vancouver?" And he just said him and Patrick Allvin have a relationship going way back, many, many years. He respects him. He really got a liking to Bruce Boudreau as well when they were recruiting for Kuzmenko, and they met him in Ann Arbor, Michigan, I think it was, in that recruiting process. He's got a really good relationship. And yes, I do believe there were better offers, Jeff, and he did pick the Canucks over all those teams. I do believe that's accurate.
And what was this about a yacht in Miami? And is that where you're headed for your summer holiday?
Oh, no. The price might be, but not me.
You're just going on an average boat.
I'll be in Charlie Lake down in the up north in a canoe. I don't got a yacht. Listen, so when Kuzmenko was in Miami on his North American tour, they had stopped off there, and him and Milstein, and they met Mikheyev there as well. And Mikheyev actually played a role on the yacht in Miami, and just talking to Kuzmenko, and I think he played a role in Kuzmenko coming to Vancouver. I think that Ann Arbor meeting with Elvin and Rutherford played a role in Kuzmenko. The Vancouver Canucks did a really good job with both Mikheyev and Kuzmenko. I've been saying in this market for weeks and weeks and weeks that the Canucks like Mikheyev and they like Curtis Lazar. Both those guys came here. And I knew, and Jim Rutherford admitted on our show today, that they zoned in on Mikheyev around January. They really like this guy. They love the speed, the tenacity. Hey, listen, the fact he scored 21 goals is just a bonus. He's going to help your penalty killing. He's going to help you with more depth in your forward group. I like what they did with the forwards, guys. I know they got a ton of work to do on the blue line, and that's going to have to come through trades. But the night before the free agency, I was told that they were going to go after a lot of forwards. They did. They checked in with a couple of D. It didn't work out. They didn't land a defenseman yesterday, but I like what they did with the forward group, guys.
Let's ask you the poll question today, the Bodog poll question. Who's going to score the most goals? Because both of these guys that you're talking about are on the poll question, Mikheyev and Kuzmenko, and so is Podkolzin, who's got a leg up in that he's no stranger to the NHL on Kuzmenko. Mikheyev, of course, coming off a 20-goal season, so he's the incumbent, if you will, on the leaderboard in the National Hockey League. But in this system, in the way that they're going to be used, who scores the most goals out of the Russian trio?
That's a great question, and it's all about roles and identity. And who's going to get in the top six? Rutherford believes that Mikheyev is going to be in the top six to start, and you got to. The great thing about I don't care if it's in bantam or junior, or I don't care if it's in the NHL. You got to always earn your ice time. You got to earn it. But for me, if Kuzmenko is not going to be brought here to be a fourth liner, he's going to be given every opportunity. We're told that he could play a difference on the power play. I'm not sure I see Mikheyev on the power play. I sure do see Kuzmenko going to get a lot of power play opportunities. For that reason, I'm going to pick Kuzmenko. I think he starts off in the top six. I think he gets opportunity. I don't know if it's the first unit or the second, but this is a guy I think, and we've been told, and I've even talked to people in Russia, this is a guy that can be a difference maker on a power play, so I'm going to say Kuzmenko.
I don't think they did this because of Tramkin, but we know that the Russians do like to have a community here. There's not a big Russian community in Vancouver, so do you think that Rutherford did this on purpose to create a little bit of an enclave around Podkolzin, who could be a star in this town going forward? Do you think it was all intentional?
No, I don't, because first of all, Kuzmenko was the top Russian free agent, so they identified that, and they have named him as that. So, I don't care if they went out and got, but look at guys, they went out and got the Rookie of the Year in Sweden. They got the top free agent in Russia. Like, I don't really care where they get these players from. All I know is that for the past 12 years, this market has not had a good hockey team. And I don't really care where the players come from. And whether it's Sweden or Czechoslovakia or Canada or the U.S., this is a hockey club. They're not in a position to say, let's just get a bunch of Russians or let's please Podkolzin. They are in the business of winning, and they got to get the best players to Vancouver and turn this thing around. It's been 10 to 12 years, and you guys both know it. It hasn't been a lot of winning. There hasn't been a lot of playoffs. There hasn't been a lot of getting past round one, and I don't believe so. I was always told that the reason they went after Kuzmenko is because he was the number one free agent in Russia. They got him. Mikheyev, they identified in January. They got him. They got the Linus Karlsson. They got him. Top Swedish guy. You know what? They're going out and they're getting guys, and I don't really care where they're from. You know what? Build a team. Turn this thing around. I don't care where they're from.
Small point of order, Jeff. Before
he continues,
I just wanted to do a small point of order. He said Czech or Slovakia, not Czechoslovakia, because Rick wouldn't make that mistake.
There he goes again. Yeah. There's Price. There's Price again. Anyways, there's Price again.
I'm still having trouble seeing Ricky in a canoe, but that's from earlier.
Hey, grade 7, Burnaby Lake, right across the Winter Club there. we were in grade 7. We were in canoes, and I couldn't swim. And the guy with me kept tilting it, and he kept saying, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna flip it." And I was in tears. I have been in canoes. Burnaby Lake, grade 7, and I remember Walter. It was Walter, me and Walter in there, and he was threatening to flip the canoe, and it was scary.
Are you much of a swimmer, Ricky? Do you swim?
No, I can't. That's why Walter in grade 7 in the canoe at Burnaby Lake was scaring the hell out of me.
Got to wear your life jacket at all times. Hey, speaking of life preservers, I see the Colorado Avalanche threw one to Brad Hunt. He got some term, so good for him. I mean, we know he's one of the good guys. What can you tell me about Brad Hunt? But also, Tyler Mott is still out on the market. I thought maybe there would have been a team that had room for Tyler Mott. And hearing anything about Juho Lammikko, we saw that Highmore had to take a two-way deal in St. Louis, but he got a contract with the Blues. But any word on Juho Lammikko and a new place to play?
Let me start with Brad Hunt. So he gets a 2-year deal, two-way deal. It's not a one-way deal; it's two-way. So Colorado, not a lot of teams are tight with the money. I was just told that he's going to take that 2-year Colorado. Ashton Sautner, I know. Just let me get this in. He was a really model player for the Canucks in Utica. I think he played over 200 plus games, brought back last year in Abbotsford, but he's in Winnipeg. Let me tell you something about free agency in the Canucks, okay? They did call Troy Stetcher's agent. They did call Dennis Chalowski, the Langley kid. They called Evan Rodriguez. Here's two guys I found out they called last night, which was interesting to me, was Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney's a name I dropped in this market 5, 6, 7 weeks ago. Guess what? They called his agent. I think Kevin Rooney and Curtis Lazare came down to one of those two for that fourth line spot at center for the Canucks. I do believe that I've known for a while they've liked Kevin Rooney. The other guy they and I think this may have been, guys, if they don't get Mikheyev, I'm really wondering if the next guy on their list was a guy named Frank Vetrano. So here's what I know. Vetrano went from Florida to the Rangers, and Vetrano, the Canucks checked in on. I do know that for a fact, and I do know that if maybe they don't land Mikheyev, Frank would have been the next guy? I don't know. But I did find out last night that they checked in on guys like Kevin Rooney, Frank Vetrano. They also checked in on Sam Steele. I found out this morning they're no longer in the Sam Steele. There's a lot of teams in on Sam Steele. The Canucks checked in. 100% they checked in. I talked to the agent this morning, but they are out on Sam Steele. Ty Ronning has not signed yet. I know the Canucks talked to him. As of last night, there was nothing cooking with Vancouver, so we'll keep an eye on that. Tyler Mott, you are correct, is out there. Brandon Sutter's out there. Alex Chason. The Canucks would bring Alex Chason back. But is that going to be a later in the summer situation? Because when I look at the Canucks forward group, and then I look at forwards 13 and 14, is it nice to have an Alex? They were really impressed with Chason, by the way, Jeff and Blake. They really liked him as a good pro on and off the ice. They did. And they thought he was one of the hardest working guys to practice. So when I look at Dakota Joshua, I know everyone's thinking, boy, he got 800 one way and 850 one way in the second year. A lot of teams were in on Dakota Joshua. His agent told me, and he picked the Vancouver Canucks. That's a guy to keep an eye on that is possibly get games in Vancouver. Could he be that 12? Could he be the 13, 14 guy? Could Chason be that? Just stuff that you hear and that you contemplate and wonder if that could be possible. But the Canucks, they only got Mikheyev, Lazar, and Kuzmenko and Joshua, but they did call other other players. Here's an interesting story I want to give you guys. About the Canucks defenseman they signed, Wyatt Kalynuk, for Abbotsford. So his coach at the University of Wisconsin was Tony Granado. So when free agency opened up, the agent's first two calls he got for this player were from Cami Granado and Don Granado. So Cami on behalf of the Vancouver Giants, Don, the coach of the Buffalo Sabres. So very interesting that when Wyatt Kalynuk became available on free agency day, that the first two calls were from Cami Granado and Don Granado, and Tony coached him at the University of Wisconsin. Isn't that an interesting story?
Yeah, I think there might have been some discussions over dinner.
I was going to say almost as good as Walter in the canoe, but it was a good story.
Hey, This kid had a connection to all 3 Granados. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's good.
Blake?
And played for Jeremy Colleton in Chicago as well. So there was
that's it. And, so what I also want to tell you about this goalie, Colin Delia, and you just brought up again the coach in Abbotsford, Jeremy Colleton, who I met 3-4 weeks ago at a function. Really good guy, really impressed with him. He also had a role in getting Colin Delia here. So Colin is going to be the backup. Or no, he's going to be one of the goalies in Abbotsford, along with where obviously we know the other guy. I think DiPietro is. I think both sides would like to get him a fresh start if possible. So they're hopefully before training camp work on that. But I think it would be wise to say that both sides would probably like to see a fresh start for Mike DiPietro.
Notice how you stick handled around Artur Silov's name.
Yeah, because why? Why should I say Silovs and then you come in with your arrogant, cocky attitude and shoot it down because I screw up names?
No, nothing.
Hey, hold it a second. What about? Wait, hold it a second. Let me. Where the hell's my list? I'm scared. What's the Canucks first round pick's name again?
Lekaramaki. Yeah.
Lekaramaki, yeah. I nailed that last week.
You did. Everybody was so impressed with you.
Yeah,
we're really proud.
Lekaramaki.
There you go. What else is on the menu for the Canucks in the next couple of weeks? Are they still going to be looking for, again, those quad A players? You mentioned they were in on Sam Steele. Do they still feel like they need to do some of those, or is it all back to JT Miller focus?
Yeah, I think JT's the focus. I think Jim said today, and I think what he's trying to say is, and I said this a few days ago on the show, guys, he's got incredible patience, Jim Rutherford. He does not care. He doesn't care what Canucks Twitter and the media think. He's going to do what's best for the Vancouver Canucks, and he's going to be patient. And they clearly don't have the deal they want. They clearly haven't received a proposal that they're doing cartwheels about. Because come on, guys, if they had a proposal that was really, really, really good, they would have executed by now. And look, at the other flip side of this is, can they someday ever get a deal with, and as Jim said on our show today, this is a 99-point guy. This is a guy that plays 2 positions. He's so valuable. He could play center or wing. One of your top 2 centers gets hurt. He could jump right in there. You don't have to go to the farm team. You don't have to move the third-line center into a top 6 role he'd be uncomfortable with. He kills penalties, power play, a shootout. He's so in
Rick,
the
why
overtime.
No deal then? Why isn't the phone ringing off the hook?
Okay, because there's a lot of teams capped out. There's a lot of teams with money issues. And here's another one, Blake. If you are going after JT Miller, are you going to give the Canucks everything they want, prospects, young players, and then say, oh, JT's going to walk in a year on free agency? Don't you want to give up young prospects and first-round picks to the Vancouver Canucks for Miller, but also have an extension in the side pocket? Okay, well, then when you ask why isn't it done, it's a very complicated deal to do, Blake. It's not easy.
Well, they've had some time, Rick. This didn't just start on free agency day.
I just told you if they had the offer, it'd have been done by now, Blake.
Well, I think that goes
clearly
without
the
saying.
Offers aren't good enough. Yeah.
Should they bring down the ask? Should they bring down the ask?
But I will tell you, and he said it again today, Jim. He's going to be patient. He said the deadline is the trading deadline. He said that's the pressure point. Not now, but. One thing we should say, and we all guess in the media and the fans, we all guess. So the only people that know are Jim Rutherford and JT's agent, Brian Bartlett. By the way, I was texting with Brian Bartlett today. They're just sitting back. They're being patient too, just like Jim, and he agrees that the thing to do here is be patient and just to see how this plays out. One phone call changes everything, Blake. And
do
Jeff,
you think
one phone call.
The team is saying they don't mind if JT Miller shows up in camp and plays this season. What do you think JT Miller thinks on that? He likes his teammates. I'm not suggesting he doesn't like his teammates, but does he feel like he needs to start that next chapter now?
No, he has no choice. I have no indication from the Miller camp that he's got 1 year left on his contract with the Vancouver Canucks, and if the Vancouver Canucks tell him to come to training camp and play out the final year, he's got to play it out. I mean, what options does he have? He's got 1 year left on his contract with the Vancouver Canucks. He had a great year. Here's another one for you guys. The Vancouver Canucks have provided JT Miller with an opportunity with tons of power play and penalty killing. He didn't get that in Tampa Bay. Did you notice since he come to Vancouver that his point total has gone on and on and on? And so they're going up and up and up and up because his responsibility level in Vancouver, he didn't have that with the Rangers. He had issues with Tortorella in New York. He had issues with Vigneault. And he goes to Tampa Bay. He's kind of like on the third line on a loaded team. He comes to Vancouver and he gets a ton of ice time. And he's put himself in a position. I mean, why would JT Miller not want to come back to Vancouver where they play the hell out of him every single game?
But Rick, do you think that the Johnny Hockey experience this week has, scared the Miller camp in any way? That Johnny Gaudreau, 115-point player, he also has had a 99-point season under his belt, and he couldn't command double digits as an unrestricted free agent, and ultimately it winds up in a place like Columbus, which I don't imagine was, he can say what he wants, but I don't think Columbus was right at the top of his list. Do you think anything that happened this week has scared the Miller camp in any way?
No, why would they? JT Miller's laughing right now. He got 99 points. He puts up another 99. He's going to head into free agent. Johnny Gaudreau spent 12 years in Calgary. That's an emotional attachment. JT Miller has not been here 12 years. The emotional attachment is not there that what Johnny Gaudreau in Calgary was.
No, but the market didn't materialize for Gaudreau the way that I think he thought it was going to. Like, I think he thought he was going to.
But in a year, the salary cap goes up. Some teams make more. How about a team right now is sitting there going, hey, if we're going to take a run at JT Miller next summer, let's create some cap space. It's 12 months away. We're literally 12 months away to know what that market would be for him. But all I know is they talked contract in Montreal at the draft, the Canucks and JT Miller's agent, and they were not close that week. And there's work to do on the contract side. As Jim said today on our show, it's going to be a tough contract to do because he's put himself in a position after 99 points. And guys, he comes back to Vancouver and puts up another 99 points. His value is just going to keep going up and up and up. I mean, he's done a nice job in Vancouver. And again, the Canucks deserve credit for giving this guy tons of ice time, tons of opportunity to put himself in a position for a big cash, big payday.
Great stuff as usual, Rick. We understand the summer's about to begin for you, isn't it?
We are officially on holidays, Donnie, myself, and Ryan. And we also announced today that we got new 2-year deals. So we're very happy. It was a good week for the three of us. And, and I just want to say, as the climate changes for the media in this country, and especially in Vancouver the last few years, I just want to say happy what you guys are doing, Sekeres, Price, and Rink-Wide. Our industry's taken a beating last few years. The cell phones changed everything. Twitter and Instagram and all these other platforms have really, and I told you guys, and you guys know this, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I love newspapers. I love radio. I love TV. But our industry's taken a big bleep kicking in the last few years. And, 1040 going down was a horrible day. It was a horrible day.
Hang on a second. So the bombshell in all of this is Taylor's going to work for 2 more years?
Yes. Donnie T has got a new. He left today with a new 2-year deal in his back pocket.
Did you talk to his agent?
His agent is my agent. We got the same guy.
Okay.
Ross Gurney.
Did he negotiate parking for the chopper from Belcarra?
We tried to get we tried to get Blake Price's agent. He says, no, you guys are too small. My guy's he's up here. You guys
you're talking to
down
Blake
here.
Price's agent right now. You're talking to him.
Hey, Blake Price's agent told us to beat it. You're not good enough.
I would say that to you. That does track.
Just Blake Price's agent is arrogant and cocky, and he went to Harvard just like Blake.
On that note, Rick, it was so nice chatting with you. Have yourself a great summer, and we're going to miss you on Fridays. We really are.
Yeah, I can't wait. And again, what I was saying, just love what you guys are doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's keep this, our industry's in trouble, but let's keep working hard for the people of Vancouver. We're not owned by Toronto, a bunch of suits who don't have a frickin' clue about this city. Running things, AM radio into the gutter on shoestring budgets. And we don't have an owner from Toronto. We have a great BC-born company behind us. You guys have got a BC, it's a BC product as well. We're not run by a bunch of suits out of Toronto.
You
It's
tell
so
him.
nice. And
You
keep
tell
up.
him. You tell him.
And you guys, and you guys care about local. We care about local. Ain't no suit in Toronto telling us what story to do. We want to do it for the city of Vancouver. This is the best city in the world. They deserve the best media and the best local content. We're trying to give it to them.
On that note, Dolly.
Happy canoeing, Rick.
Yes.
Walter, he tried to
Yeah.
he scared me. Price would do the same
summer
thing.
to you
Price
and Taylor.
No, but he was shaking the canoe and scaring. I cried. I'm not going to lie to you.
Say goodbye to Hendo as well. We'll talk in the not too distant future, Dolly. Thank you.
All right, boys. Always a pleasure.